Hello and welcome to Rebekah. I hope everyone's having a great weekend. Mine has been pretty productive so far, and having a really good reading day this Sunday. So many things have already changed from my TBR plan. Not too much, but just some additional stuff on my June TBR already that I haven't talked about. So first off, really, I've had a productive morning. I was up really early. Usually the pets are looming around and eventually really bothering me in the morning for food. And this morning they were kind of looming, but not really climbing on me or anything, a little before 7. And I was just wide awake for no apparent reason. So I got up and started reading, got them all taken care of, fed and walked and everything by 7. So pretty much from 7 to 9 I just read straight through. So I've done a good amount of reading already today. That is great news because I have some big chunky stuff to get through. But I have also already started to deviate from the plan in my June TBR. Really just added a couple of extra things versus really any changes to what I had planned. So I guess first up, Lirael. I was thinking this was going to take me significantly longer, so you can see I am really almost done. I started playing a game yesterday, Cook Serve Delicious. It's something I had played before. It's really repetitive, and you kind of set up a menu and then you fill orders basically for whatever's on your menu. And there's a little bit more to it, but you don't have to do any listening really. There's ding sounds and stuff, but it's great for audiobooking. So I got through 4 hours of Lirael yesterday. I only have, like I said, about 30 minutes left of it. So that changed the plan because I was looking for a new audiobook to pick up. And I had previously been really toying with the idea of running down to library headquarters to get a copy of Across the Green Grass Fields by Seanan Mcguire, the 6th book, I think, in the Wayward Children series. And I found out that it's available on audio, so I picked that one up already. They didn't have any holds on it, so that is going to work out great because the whole series is very queer, but this particular book, I believe, has a intersex protagonist, and it centers around kind of a new setting. The Hooflands, I believe, is the setting that this particular character goes to, so we're going to see some horses and unicorns, I guess. So that should be really fun. I've enjoyed the whole series. Even the weaker books that haven't worked as well for me have still been very fun to read. So I'm looking at getting that one on my reading in audio. And I fully expect that I'm going to play some more of the game that I was playing today, so I will probably finish this and start Across the Green Grass Fields. So on top of that, I had a hold on Alyssa Cole's new book. I think it's How to Catch a Princess, and that is an FF romance, so that also fits into the Queer Lit Readathon. But I was not expecting to get it. It has 8 weeks on the ebook hold. Last week they got in a physical copy, so I put in a hold on the physical copy with one person ahead of me, thinking, oh, I still probably will not get this, but I prefer to read physical. And apparently whoever had it read it really fast because Saturday it went in transit to me, so I will be getting it this week, I'm sure. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've loved all of Alyssa Cole's work that I've read. I don't know too much about this other than it continues to be kind of in contemporary Africa. And I don't know if it's a made-up place like the previous book was, How to Catch a Queen, but that was my favorite book of hers, so I'm really looking forward to see how this one goes. As far as on the go, we've got so many things. My Kindle is dying. I think loads of people have problems with this particular generation of Kindles where the power cord doesn't connect right and you can't charge it. So I had been living with that, and then 2 days ago I just could not get it to charge. It was completely dead, and I've been waiting and trying different things and kind of was giving up and frustrated with it. I finally got it to charge last night. So I was without a Kindle for multiple days, so I hadn't made hardly any progress on dress codes, which I've been trying to read because it's already passed and I ran out of time on it, so I had to turn things into airplane mode so I could keep reading it. So I need to get reading on that. I was able to read a little bit of it today. I read about 30 pages, and it's a pretty long book. It's almost 400 pages, so I'm a little over the 100-page mark now. Really enjoying it. I've learned a ton in this book. Like, I just read a section about the Tartan Act, where effectively the English Parliament banned Scots from wearing the Highland garb and tartan, and that was completely outlawed for 40 years. It's crazy. So really informative, and I'm really enjoying that one. I also have been making great progress on The Relentless Moon by Mary Robinette Kowal. I am almost halfway through. I think I read 150 pages or so on this today, so really doing well on this one. And then I think I probably am done with this one for today. If I do pick up a physical book, I think I'm probably going to start Pet, since that is a big priority for the Queer Lit Readathon for me. I also have read, so my Ursula K. Le Guin project here, I have finished all of the novels in here, but this section at the back, the small section, is short stories, and it has an appendix with all of the introductions to the novels, some of them multiple introductions from different versions, and then it also has some like essays, I guess. So what I read today was just a 5-page essay. It's not quite the introduction to the Dispossessed, but it was in response to reviewers' reactions to the Dispossessed and who they thought her philosophical references were. So this is an essay titled A Response by Ansible from Tau Ceti is what I read. And it's pretty dense, so like I said, it's only 5 pages, but that took me about 20 minutes to read. And then finally, I think that's finally Women Talking. So I had been planning on kind of reading through this a little more quickly than I have been because I own this. It's just not been the top priority. So I've slowed way down. So I thought I was going to get through this last weekend, but I just kind of set it aside to pick up all the library books that I was wanting to read. I read Network Effect. That really dominated my time. So I have maybe 50 pages left of this. It's not a very long book, so I could fly through it if I wanted to, but I'm enjoying taking my time, so I'm not really pushing on that one. And I have till the end of June to finish it, so I definitely will be able to do that. Not a problem. So I think that is it for what I've got in progress. What else is going on? I did something kind of crazy this weekend, so I learned that David Mack, who is an illustrator, like a comic illustrator, and has done some work in the Sandman universe before. He has really distinctive style. It's very like contrasted white with splashy watercolor. He has done a line of illustrations of all the major characters from Sandman. And I just kind of went on and was checking out, expecting that, you know, I'm not overly into signed things, but I figured they would be sold out and wasn't particularly looking for that. But I went through and found there were some remaining that are signed by both Neil Gaiman and David Mack. So you can see right behind me these are all my favorite authors up here. I've got Ursula K. Le Guin, I've got Terry Pratchett, I've got Neil Gaiman over here. So I ordered signed prints, and they're pretty pricey, but not like terrible for what they are. But they're just gorgeous. So I ordered a signed print of Death from Sandman, which is gorgeous. And then I ordered some just kind of quote prints as well, not signed, that are like, there are quotes of Neil's from some previous work or speeches that he's made. And one of those is illustrated by Chris Riddell also, who is another illustrator who works with Neil a lot. So I'm very excited to see those and get those here. I don't know for sure where I'm going to put them, but I do think probably last weekend got my shelves built, I talked about, and I'll show you them here in a second, but I think probably the area in between those two shelves above my couch may be a good spot to put multiple pictures there. So we'll see how much space they take up and if they work in that spot. Let me spin you around and we will look at one of the bookshelves that's pretty settled. I think I've still been shifting books a lot. So this is the new bookshelf. It is a Billy bookshelf, 15 inches wide with the extender, one additional shelf extender, so it's 92 inches tall, I think. And I'm very excited. I've wanted a library shelf for a long time to have that kind of dedicated space. And now I realize I can make this particular shelf here my library / TBR, current TBR shelf. So I'm really happy to have that space so I can just every night put all my books back on this shelf and not have them sitting in piles all over. So this one is pretty settled, I think. The other one I'm still shuffling. So we're back. You've moved a little bit. So that was my big excitement for the holiday weekend, really, is that I built the shelves. It was very exhausting, took several hours on Sunday. And then Monday I was shuffling stuff, really, moving things around from all my overloaded shelves. So I actually have space on shelves now, which is super weird. And then Monday, later in the day for the holiday, I was able to see some people, which is very weird. So that all still is kind of something that, you know, we're all figuring out, obviously. So everybody is a little extra stressed by it as it is, but I'm already one of those people that just, you know, is very low energy and doesn't have a whole lot of spoons. So it was a very tiring weekend. So that kept me kind of low key through this week. As far as stuff that I finished this week, I really only finished one book, I think. I finished RAFE, the Buff Male Nanny. That was actually my last remaining thing from my May TBR, so I did finish all the books I wanted to read in May, and that's really exciting. That one is a romance, obviously, by Rebekah Weatherspoon, and it follows a single mom of color who has twins with her ex-husband, and she's also a surgeon, so she's got this very high demanding career, and her nanny just kind of bails on her, unfortunately, so she's really left in the lurch by her situation with her previous nanny. And she's also living in a new place, so she doesn't know even where to go about getting a nanny, but fortunately she has a friend who can give her some references because she is a teacher. So she gets this reference for Rafe, who happens to be between jobs after his previous family moved to Australia, and they had offered him to come with them because he was so well loved, but he decided to stick around. So now he's been without a job for a couple weeks and is living at home with his family in the in-between time, and yeah, things end up working out, and the first time the two meet, they are immediately attracted to each other, but they try really hard to be professional. What I like so much about this book is something that, you know, people had talked up about it ahead of time that I knew going in, and it was completely true. The hype there was real. Is their communication is so great. They do talk about the fact that they're both attracted to each other and how that impacts their professional relationship, how that impacts the relationship with the girls if they were to continue to progress with a working relationship. So they talk about that. They do pretty quickly break down and end up getting into a more steamy relationship. And this was one of the more kind of steamy, spicy books I've read. I really liked it because it was a very realistic portrayal. You know, they get disrupted by the kids. They're trying to hide it from the kids that this is going on, and you know, they have obligations to these kids that are in the house that have, you know, needs from them all the time. So yeah, I thought it was a really realistic portrayal. The one thing that I kind of didn't really like is the relationship with the ex. Like he's not a great guy, and from the main character Sloane's perspective, you know, we're sold on her being kind of young and impressionable, and that's why she got with this much older doctor who had some power. But she just is such a independent and headstrong character. I just couldn't see that as being realistic. I really would have liked to see a healthy relationship with the ex, and that is not the case here. But I think that was introduced to put in some conflict, because there really isn't a lot of conflict between the actual couple. So I love that. You know, in romance you have the trope of like the third act drama, and there is third act drama, but it doesn't really cause the couple to be disconnected. And that's something that I hate seeing in books, in romance books. So I really appreciated that aspect of this. So enjoyed it a ton. I think it was a 4 to 4.5 star. It was really great. The only thing that kind of knocked it down is that there were some deeper themes that I think could have been explored more and weren't so much. I do really look for that in getting a 5-star romance book. So that one I think is the only one I read. I'm pretty sure I talked about Network Effect quite a bit already. But Network Effect had big news this weekend. The Nebula Awards were announced, and if you did not watch the live stream of that, it was really great. I really recommend you go check out the speeches at least. Particularly John Wiswell had a fantastic speech. Ursula Vernon had a great speech. P. Jelly Clark had a great speech. So yeah, just run through the speeches at very least. I'll link the recorded YouTube video down below of that. But it was just a great presentation, really well done, really great presenters. I think everybody did wonderful. But Network Effect won the best novel category. The whole slate, all of the categories were fabulous, really. I think the winners in all of the categories were really fabulous, but I was very excited for Network Effect. I really thought Piranesi had it, but I'm stoked for Network Effect to have won it as well. So that was really big news for Martha Wells, very exciting. And I think that's the big bookish news right now, is the Nebula, and we're gonna start seeing, you know, more and more awards coming. So I think that's it for me this week. Other than reading, I've been doing a ton of reading, not as much watching stuff. I did watch the new Bo Burnham special, Inside, and it's pretty dark. It's really more of an art piece than a comedy special compared to his previous work, but I thought it was phenomenal. It was just great, but I've always been a fan of him, so really interesting, very hard-hitting for coming out of the past year. The whole thing is shot in a single room, and he did all of it himself, by himself. So it's very isolated, and it's all about exploring the emotions of that. So really, really introspective about the past year and what people have been through. Definite trigger warnings though, because there's, you know, a lot of kind of talk about being depressed and potential, you know, comments about suicide. I know he has come out and, you know, been open that no, he's not really having any issues and not to worry about him. But it does explore those themes and topics, so be aware going into that if you are looking to watch it. So I think that is it for my week. Hope you guys all are having a great weekend and having some awesome reading. I'm looking forward to a rainy afternoon here, it looks like, and that should be great for some more reading. Thanks all for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more.